Hey YouTube, what's up? It's your boy Sean Austin here from Sean's Rabbitry and Aquaponic Produce, and we're back with another rabbit farming video. We're doing it a little different today. As you can see, I'm on the road. I didn't have much time because I have so much to get done, but I wanted to make sure that I get this short video out to you guys, okay, to keep things moving along. Now first off, let me just say thanks to all of you who've supported our channel, all our subscribers. We hope you all continue to like, share, comment. Right, we just went past 2,000 subscribers on the channel and we are steadily growing. So we thank you all for your support, and we hope that you continue to support us for the remainder of this 2020. Now today's video, we're going to be talking about some of the steps you need to take to be profitable at rabbit farming. So if that interests you, stay tuned. We'll be back with more right after the intro. Okay guys, so we're back. Now today we're talking about making money, right? Being profitable in rabbit farming. Now, in recent times, we've seen a trend here in the last few months, especially coming out of this whole COVID-19 situation. We are now seeing a trend where a lot of people are thinking about being more sustainable in their living, and so as a result of that, a lot more persons are getting involved in small forms of agriculture, right? People are doing their little home gardens, and everyone is looking now at rearing some type of livestock that they can supply their home with healthy meat. As a result, we've seen a big upward surge in the number of persons who want to get into rabbit farming for a number of different reasons. Now in recent times, this has, even before this whole lockdown situation, there was a trend across the world, especially in certain countries, where they were promoting and touting rabbit farming as a way out of poverty, or as a way to, improve the economics of a particular country or areas within certain countries. I think we spoke about that in a previous video, but we're not on that today. We're talking about being profitable. So with that, now we have definitely seen an increase in the number of persons who are interested in quality breeding stock, because everyone wants to start off with the good stock that they can have good results. We're even seeing a trend where a lot of people are looking towards rabbit farming as a way to create a second income, or to supplement the income that they currently have. Right? I've spoken to a lot of persons who are close to retiring, and they're looking at a way now to supplement that pension so they don't have to go back out and seek further employment. And rabbit farming is by far the most popular choice from what I've been seeing and hearing. We're even seeing where a lot of younger persons, because the trend now is not necessarily to find a government job that you're going to sit in for the next 25 to 30 years hoping for a pension. Because across the world, we are seeing where employment status is being changed, where they are no longer, there are fewer and fewer what people consider secure jobs anymore. A lot of companies have switched to a contract system where they don't owe you any pension at the end of the day. So a lot of persons now, especially younger persons, are looking at rabbit farming specifically as a way of generating their sole income. And this is so good to see, because in the past a lot of persons haven't really looked at agriculture as a business. So I think it's a good trend to see a lot of young people now getting into agriculture, and more so into rabbit farming. I think it's good for the industry, and it's only going to help the industry to grow. Now, having said all that, now it makes no sense going into this venture without a plan, because definitely one of your goals should be to turn a profit. So you need to structure things properly, and I think in previous videos I've mentioned a number of things, but today we're going to speak more specifically about the direct things that you should be doing that are eventually going to lead to your farm being profitable. Okay guys, so there are a number of things that you need to do, but in a nutshell, if you want to make a profit from rabbit farming, your focus has to be fast growth. You want to grow out your rabbits as quickly as you can. Now, we're not reinventing the wheel here, okay? The standard worldwide for meat producing rabbits is to have a 5-pound rabbit in 8 weeks time. That's the standard for commercial rabbit farming all over the world, right? So it don't make sense trying to create any other model. This is the model that's working, just use it. Now, you may or may not accomplish this right away, but that should be a target, and by doing selective breeding and other things, you should get closer and closer to accomplishing that goal. And the closer you get to that goal, the more profit you're going to make. Now, the reason for this standard of 5 pounds in 8 weeks is because rabbits gain weight faster in their earlier weeks than they do when they're a lot older. Right? That's what we talk about when we talk about feed conversion ratio. I think we spoke about this in depth in another video. I think that video was why rabbits are the best. I believe that was the video. But anyway, I'll link that in the description below. So if you haven't seen that video already, you can go and check that out. But the feed conversion ratio talks about the amount of feed that a rabbit has to eat to put on a specific amount of weight. And when rabbits are younger, they will eat less feed to put on the same amount of weight than when they're older. They're going to eat probably 1.5 or twice the amount of feed to put on the same amount of weight. So the faster you get these rabbits on feed and putting on that weight, is the quicker you're going to get to your goal of 5 pounds in the shortest possible time. Okay, so now we come into, as we say, I have about 5 or 6 points here that you need to focus on, especially persons who are new and you're just getting into rabbit farming. If you want to be profitable, these are some of the things that you need to start off with. There aren't any shortcuts. You either do it the right way and have good results, or you don't. So first off the bat, you need to start with good quality breeding stock. It makes no sense just buying random rabbits all over the place unless your goal is just to have random rabbits to sell. If you're going into it as a business for profit, then you need to start with quality stock. So you're going to buy rabbits from a reputable breeder who keeps good records, who has rabbits that are already accomplishing the goal that you want to accomplish, which would be 5 pounds in 8 weeks. Now, if you don't have that, then as close to that as possible, because I know locally here with the feed quality that we have, most of us accomplish 5 pounds closer to 12 weeks. But like I said, the goal should be to bring that time frame down and get those rabbits up to 5 pounds as early as possible, because the longer you keep them, the less profit you're going to make, because they're going to be eating more feed as they get older to gain less weight. Secondly, as we're on that, you need to look at a good quality feed. Now, persons, this is an area where a lot of people tend to want to cut cost, and it's not a good area to cut cost in at all. So I've spoken to farmers who are using all different types of feeds, all purpose, chicken grower, pig grower, all sorts of feeds, because they're cheaper, not keeping in mind that different feeds are made to suit different types of digestive systems. So a rabbit being one of those animals that has a very simple digestive system, you shouldn't try to vary your feed too much, and you should stick to feeds that were specifically made for rabbits that have a minimum of 18% protein. That is the general standard that most people go by. You want to feed with at least 18% protein, also a high amount of fiber. You know, should be about around the same thing, almost the same 18% fiber, and low in fat. And this would work perfectly for your rabbit's digestive system. Also, there's a new trend now where a lot of people are moving more towards forage-based feeds or entire forage diets, and that's okay. However, if you're growing your own forage, choose there. You need to do some research there. Okay, choose the right forages to grow first of all, based on their protein content and things like that, and also when would be the best time to harvest that forage to have the maximum amount of nutritional content. Okay, you also have to look at things like wilting and things like that to reduce the amount of water content, because if you're just feeding forage, then you're going to have to feed a lot more for them to get the amount of nutrients they need, as opposed to using already prepared pelleted feed. So that's something to consider. So you need a high quality feed, starting with good stock. That's 2. 3, we spoke about starting with good stock. Added to that, you need to start with rabbits that were intended for meat production. Don't just buy random rabbits all over the place. There are breeds that are better suited for meat production, and it makes sense to start with those breeds. Okay, so in most commercial rabbitries around the world, they would use the New Zealand whites, the Californians, the chinchillas to some extent, and like the Flemish giants are used as a terminal cross just for hybrid vigor to create faster growing offspring. Now, the giants, a lot of people are fascinated with giant rabbits. Well, let's understand something. Big rabbits need big bones to support their frame, which then lends to a poor meat to bone ratio. So even though the rabbit is bigger, you may not actually be getting the right percentage of meat that you're looking for when compared to the more compact breeds like the New Zealand and the Californian, which were intended for meat production. So definitely choose rabbits that were intended for that purpose and start working towards your goal. Now, 4, it's important that you set your feeders and waterers at a height that's easily accessible for young rabbits. Pre-weaned rabbits, you know, kits, when they're still nursing, very early on, from about 2 weeks on, they're going to start nibbling on feed, and they're going to start reaching for the water and drinking extra water and things like that. So you have to make sure that these things are set at the appropriate heights where they can access it easily, because the faster you get them on feed is the faster they're going to work towards gaining that 5-pound weight that you're aiming for. So you're going to want them eating as soon as possible and having a ready access to clean drinking water, because rabbits aren't going to eat if they don't have sufficient water. So you have to make sure you always have a nice ready supply of clean drinking water, so they're going to eat as much feed as possible. Now 5, and this lends to the earlier point, weaning. You need to be weaning as early as possible. Now if you get these rabbits on feed and water as early as possible, then you're going to be able to wean them a lot sooner. And this is going to go hand in hand with rebreeding, because since it's a commercial operation, you're going to be rebreeding your doe at 2 weeks post kindle. So it means then that after the first 2 weeks, when those kids start eating feed, the mother's milk is naturally going to be reducing because she's preparing to give birth to a new litter. So her milk is going to start drying up. So if those kits are already on feed, then it means then that by day 28 or 30 average, you can wean that litter to their own cage and start prepping the mom to give birth again. And I think we spoke about this in previous videos, that early breed back cycle. Again, if you choose rabbits that are designed for fast production and rapid production, then you're not going to have much of an issue with that 2-week breed back cycle. Of course, nutrition is key, so you're going to make sure that that mother is on full feed all the time. She must never be without feed and water, and as much dried forage or hay as possible to maintain her health. So those are the 5 main things that you need to have in consideration if you want your farm to be profitable. But there are a couple other things that you're going to need to consider as well. One of those, and I mentioned this in I think a previous video on rabbit farming mistakes, persons get into rabbit farming and don't prepare by having enough cages. So you're definitely going to want to make sure you have enough cages up front, because we're looking at production, turnover. The money in rabbit farming is made in fast turnover of stock, not by growing the biggest rabbits to sell at the highest price. I said this several times before. I hope it's getting through. Okay, your goal should be 5 pounds, 8 to 12 weeks, slaughter, put to market, and replace and free that cage now to receive another litter, and the process continues. It's turnover is where you're going to make the money. And as we're talking about that, the other thing that you need to consider, of course, is slaughtering. A lot of persons get into rabbit farming without considering that at some stage someone is going to have to dispatch those rabbits. So you either need to be prepared to do that or cater for having someone to do that for you. Okay, you will also need, of course, if you're doing it for yourself, you have to consider having some sanitary area where you can do the safe processing of carcasses and meat preparation. And to take it a little further as well, depending on your market, you may have to look into other things like halal and kosher and things like that. Okay, but that's a little way down the road, but it's something that you need to have in the back of your mind from the beginning, because that is all part of the process. So guys, I hope that you all benefited from this information. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please share it with someone else who you think it would benefit as well. Make sure and hit that like button. Do so right now. Okay, if it's your first time here with us, definitely hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that little bell to turn on notifications whenever we upload new content. Okay guys, so we're gonna leave it there for today, and we look forward to seeing you guys next week, please God, when we bring you a brand new rabbit farming video. So this is Sean Austin on behalf of my business partner Sean McLean, signing out. See you guys in the next video. Peace.